Every time someone asks you something in English, you panic and say, I don't know. Even when you actually have something in your mind, you shut down. That one sentence is quietly destroying your confidence. Today, you are going to replace it with something stronger and more natural. Welcome back to the channel. Most people believe fluency is about learning more vocabulary, but real fluency is about how you respond in the moment. One small habit can either build your confidence or break it. Saying, I don't know, again and again trains your brain to stay silent. In this video, you will learn how to replace that habit with responses that keep you speaking. Why you go blank even when you know the answer. The real problem is not your English level. It is your reaction pattern. Whenever your brain feels pressure, it immediately looks for a safe way out. That is when, I don't know, comes out automatically. It feels comfortable because it protects you from making mistakes, but at the same time, it stops you from improving. In reality, most of the time you do have something to say. You have ideas, opinions, and reactions in your mind, but you hesitate for a second. That hesitation creates doubt, and that doubt blocks your speech. Your brain starts overthinking small things like grammar, pronunciation, or whether your sentence is correct. Now imagine someone asks, what do you think about this idea? Your brain quickly forms a rough answer, but before you speak, another voice appears. It says your English is not good enough, or your sentence might be wrong. That inner voice interrupts your flow, and instead of trying, you choose silence. This is how a simple habit turns into a pattern. You start using, I don't know, not because you lack knowledge, but because you lack trust in your own English. Over time, your brain begins to believe this is your natural response. It becomes automatic, and you stop even attempting to speak. The dangerous part is not the sentence itself, but what it teaches your mind. Every time you say, I don't know, you are reinforcing the idea that you cannot express yourself. Slowly, this affects your confidence in conversations, meetings, and even casual discussions. Another hidden problem is that your brain never gets practice under pressure. Real conversations are slightly uncomfortable, and that is where growth happens. But when you exit the conversation early, you remove that learning opportunity. You stay in your comfort zone, and your speaking ability stays at the same level. Also, people around you start expecting shorter answers from you. They may stop asking your opinion or involving you in conversations. Not because you are not capable, but because your responses signal disinterest or uncertainty. This further reduces your chances to practice and improve. The truth is, fluency is not about always having perfect answers. It is about staying in the conversation, even when you are unsure. The moment you understand this, you start breaking the pattern that has been holding you back. Real-life situations where you shut down. Let's look at how this habit shows up in real life. Imagine your friend asks, have you watched this movie? You have not watched it, but instead of continuing the conversation, you simply say, I don't know. The conversation ends right there, even though you could have said more. Now think about a classroom or a meeting. Someone asks, what is your opinion on this? You understand the topic, and you even have a basic idea in your mind. But the pressure of speaking correctly makes you hesitate, and again, your default response becomes, I don't know. It also happens in casual conversations. Someone asks you a simple question like, why do you like this? Or, What do you usually do on weekends? These are not difficult questions, but your mind still freezes for a moment. Instead of trying, you choose the safest answer and step out of the conversation. Even in one-on-one conversations, this pattern repeats. You want to speak, you want to express, but the fear of making mistakes stops you. So, you give short, closed responses that do not allow the conversation to grow. The important thing to notice here is that the problem is not the situation. The problem is your response in that situation. These are normal, everyday conversations, and they are actually the best opportunities to build fluency. Every time you say, "I don't know," you are closing a door that could have helped you improve. But once you start noticing these moments, you gain control. And that is where real change begins. Practical upgrades to replace "I don't know." Now let's fix this habit with simple, practical upgrades you can start using immediately. The goal is not to sound perfect, but to stay in the conversation. Instead of shutting down, you will learn how to respond in a way that keeps you speaking. First, replace "I don't know" with "I am not sure, but I think." This gives you a starting point. It removes pressure because you are not claiming perfection, but you are still participating in the conversation. Your brain feels safer, and your speech starts flowing. Second, use "I have not experienced that yet, but I have heard." This works well when you lack direct knowledge. You are still contributing, and you are showing interest. Conversations continue instead of ending. Third, train yourself to buy time. Say, "Let me think for a second," or "That is an interesting question." These small phrases give your brain a few extra seconds to organize your thoughts. Instead of freezing, you stay calm and in control. Another powerful upgrade is to answer partially. You do not need a complete or perfect answer. Even one simple idea is enough to keep the conversation alive. Once you begin speaking, your brain naturally starts generating more words and ideas. You can also turn the question slightly. For example, say, "I am not completely sure, but I feel," or "I have not thought about it deeply, but my first reaction is." These responses sound natural and give you space to express without pressure. One more important shift is your mindset. Stop trying to sound perfect, and start focusing on being clear and engaged. People are not judging every word you say. They are simply listening to your idea. When you understand this, your fear reduces and your confidence increases. At first, you may still hesitate, and that is normal. But the moment you push yourself to say even one upgraded sentence, you break the old pattern. With repetition, these new responses become automatic. You are not learning new English here. You are learning a new way to use the English you already know. And that is what actually builds real fluency. Improved version demonstration. Old versus new you. Now let's see the real difference between your old habit and your upgraded responses. This is where everything becomes practical and clear. You will notice how a small change can completely transform how you sound. Old version: "I don't know." Improved version: "I have not watched it yet, but I have heard it is really good." In the first response, the conversation ends. In the second, it continues naturally. Old version: "I don't know." Improved version: "I am not completely sure, but I feel this idea could work." Now you sound thoughtful and involved, even without perfect certainty. Old version: "I don't know." Improved version: That is an interesting question. Let me think for a second. Instead of freezing, you stay present and give yourself time to respond. Notice what is happening here. You are not using complex English or advanced vocabulary. You are simply choosing better responses. These responses make you sound confident, engaged, and natural. Also notice how your energy changes. When you say, "I don't know," your tone becomes low and closed. But when you use upgraded sentences, your tone becomes active and open. You are no longer escaping the conversation. You are staying in it, contributing, and expressing your thoughts step by step. If you start practicing these improved versions daily, your speaking confidence will increase faster than you expect. Because now, you are finally using the English you already have. The next time you feel like saying, "I don't know," pause for a second and choose a better response. That one small decision can completely change how you speak and how people see you. Fluency is not built by staying silent. It is built by showing up in conversations, even when your sentences are not perfect. The more you stay in the moment, the more natural your English becomes. Start with just one upgrade from this video and use it today. Do not wait to feel confident first. Confidence comes after you speak, not before. If this made you think differently about your English, stay consistent with this habit. Because small changes like this are what create real, visible progress. If this changed the way you think about speaking English, drop a like and lock this habit in. Comment the upgraded sentence you will use today and make it real. Share this with someone who always says, "I don't know," and stays silent. Subscribe if you are serious about speaking English with confidence, not hesitation. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next simple upgrade that changes how you speak. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.